Hey everybody, welcome to my channel if you're here for the first time. If you've been here before, welcome back. My name is Heather and we are a fun, fabulous sewing channel, and today is a day that I know a lot of people have been waiting for. It is the launch of our spooky sewing kits. And we have twice as many available as the fall sewing kits that sold out in 7 minutes. But with that said, it's still not a lot. So if you are interested in getting the spooky sewing kit, I'm going to show you what you will make in the end. I would suggest you hit pause and go get it right now. I'm going to show you and then we're going to talk through it. So we are making super trendy, all of these goodies. This is what comes in your spooky sewing kit. Okay, you guys, so let me walk you through it. We've got a silicone bead wristlet, that's what we're gonna call it. We've got our lobster clasp hook to hook onto keys or your bag or whatever. You're going to get what you need to create sort of like a standout keychain. It will have a, why can't I think of the word? You know, it'll have, you're gonna get it. You're gonna get a keychain, stuff to make a keychain. You will get what I'm calling the craft show card. I can't. Craft show card case. It's just like this really easy raw edge. It holds 2 cards project. It's nothing crazy or out there, nothing that you can't probably get from somewhere else, but I like something that allows you to just like really quickly throw in a couple of cards. You could also put this inside of the craft show wallet. That's what we're calling this fella here, who's a cutie. Let me just push this out. That was driving me a little crazy. So this is the craft show wallet, and it's featuring our favorite ghosties, our fall ghosties, and our inside. So you could pop your card case right in there. It does not have to be attached, of course. It's just something fun. I call it the craft show wallet because it's the mini version of the craft show wristlet. And I called it that when I started because they're really fast to make. And so if you're going to shows, they're really sort of something simple that you can bring to a show. And it's not going to take you a long time to make or a lot of materials, but they're going to make a high impact. People love these items that sort of attach to their keys. We made ours with a tab and a 90-degree. So your spooky sewing kit is going to come with what you need to make all 4 of these items. We're using this really pretty black. We're going full spook here, full spooky. And like I said, there's twice as many available as the fall, but still that's not a lot. It just is what it is. When I originally ordered all of these materials, I didn't realize they were going to be so popular and didn't really have time to order more. So, or space in here. Even though we're working on putting up a new shelf currently to house some of the things that have been sitting on the floor. But anyway, so yeah, this is what we're doing today. If you don't get a kit, and kits will be linked in the description box below this video, so you can easily just click on it, purchase it, come back. There is no written instructions for the craft show wallet or the craft show card case. You do have to watch the video in order to just walk through how to make it. If you don't get a kit, you can still purchase the craft show wallet and card case. They're a combo together. The pattern pieces from my Etsy shop, and those will also be linked in the description box below this video. If you have the craft show wristlet, if you have the craft show wristlet, you could just shrink it, but I don't know by what size in order to get this exact size. So yeah. So that's what we're making today. Super exciting. If you are sewing on a Juki like I am, or a machine where like the feed dogs are up, I would just tell you, and I don't tell you this during sewing, just be really careful that you don't like eat up the back of your vinyl when you're making your card case. I did not edge coat this, but you could. It doesn't come with edge coat, but it does come with everything else that you need except for like the sewing machine and the thread and things like that. All right, so that is our project for today. It's just so cute, right? And so on trend, like here for it. Now, you won't be able to put this around your wrist, but I don't know. It's not stretchy. And I always looked at these and thought they were stretchy. I've been wanting to make them for a really long time and finally just bit the bullet and made them. The silicone, because they're like, I love these. Everybody loves these, right? All right, so you'll get everything you need to make these. If you don't grab a kit, you can still purchase the patterns and you'll get both patterns, okay? Both patterns, and they're not expensive whatsoever. You can also scour the interweb and probably find something very similar for free if you wanted to. Totally up to you. But today we're going to go through how to stitch together both of these projects, how to create this wristlet, and how to make the keychain. I know a lot of people were asking me. They saw my short and they were wondering if I was going to go over how to make the keychain. I do go over how to make the keychain today. They're so easy, really simple. Again, something else that you could just add to your tables at fairs or festivals if you're doing them. That is not going to take you a lot of time, but has a really big impact on everybody. Everything that you need to make the silicone wristlets will also be linked in the description box below. So if you, again, don't get a kit and you want to grab some of the materials that I'm using today, you can. The only thing you won't be able to grab is the vinyl. It is custom printed, so the only way to get it, to make these goodies exactly the way that they are, is to make sure that you're one of the folks who gets a kit. Okay, I think that's it. If you saw my last video, I was recovering. I still am from a cold, so like I still sound a little off from my normal self. So if you're like, oh my God, her voice is terrible, it's not usually like this, but you also might think it's terrible anyways. I don't know. I don't know. I'm also going to be seen sipping some water throughout the video. It's a lot better than it was, but still, it's rough. Here's another card case that we made. So yeah, they're cute. Also, another craft show wallet. I can't. These, I'm obsessed. They're so cute. But yeah, so this will be fun today. Let's head on over to the machine. I think I said everything I needed to say. I don't know. Let's head on over to the machine and get going. All right, you guys. So before we move into the patterns and projects today, we are at the machine, which is a Juki TL2010Q. We're using a Tex 35 weight thread. It's a polyester blend in the top and the bobbin, and we're going with white, even though our interior material is black. I had to choose, you guys. So you guys can choose whatever color you want. You could even do like a cool orange. That would be cool. But we're going to go with white. And we're using a Microtex 9014 needle. And we have our handy dandy tank foot for high shank machines. Numbers on the side are KT141. A lot of people are finding these. I don't list where to find them from because I'm not sure if the ones that are being found are the same as mine. So I just like you guys to have the numbers and be able to do your own research. Okay, so again, this is a tank foot for high shank machines. Numbers on the side are KT141. Okay, so we're going to make our projects today hardest to easiest, and even with that said, none of this is difficult. This is completely beginner friendly, so whatever sewing level you are, you can totally make these. All right. With your kits, of course, you're going to get the pattern piece for what I am calling the Craft Show wallet and the Craft Show card carrier. Okay, so you get all the pieces that you need. And you're going to cut 2 exterior for your, we're doing the wallet first. This is what I consider the most difficult of all the things that we're doing. And like I said, most difficult being not difficult. So we have 2 pieces of exterior. We have 2 pieces of interior, and you guys are getting really high quality waterproof canvas if you are getting the kit. If you are making this on your own, you aren't able to grab a kit, you can do this with any material. So we're using a vinyl and a waterproof canvas, but you can make it, this piece of what we're making, the craft show wallet, you can make it with anything. Upcycled denim, you can make it with cotton, you can make it with cork, whatever materials that you have, they're gonna work, okay? We've got our zipper piece and pull, and we're going with matte black, everything. So we've got our swivel, that way we can attach it to our key ring. We've got our little cut of 2.5 inch webbing, so it's 1 inch wide, 2.5 inches long if you're doing your own, which of course you will be. If you get the kit, you'll get a big roll of webbing. You'll have to make your own cuts. So I cut this at 2.5 inches long. And then we're going to use a hang tag here, and you could put the hang tag on either your card carrier or your wallet. What did I call this? What did I call the card? What did I call them? Do we know? I do. Card case. Card case. That sounds so much better than card carrier. But here we are. All right, so you could use a tag wherever you want. We're going to use it on this here. And I'm actually going to baste it on right now. And so we're just gonna, I like to put mine to the opposite side of where we put our swivel. So I'm just gonna baste it, and hang tags baste this way so that when you turn it out, it sort of hangs off the side. Okay, and a basting stitch, you guys, if you've never done one, it's just 1/8 of an inch. Oops. We hung a shelf in here and there's a bunch of stuff that's in my way. Okay, it's 1/8 of an inch away from the edge basically, and it's just a stitch that's never going to be seen. Okay, so now that piece is all set. What we can also do is just fold our webbing in half and put our swivel in. And I have burnt the edges of this. You do need to burn the edges so they don't fray. And we're going to just keep this to the side for now. We're going to work on a zipper. We're doing 1 90-degree and 1 zip end. Okay, so I like to just pull them apart and match up the edges here, sort of burn them together to hold them in place. But there are a lot of different ways to do a 90-degree. So if you're not big on burning, fire, etc., like you can, like I said, there's a ton of ways you can find a way. We're just basting the edges of this as well, so it's not a forever stitch. It's just to kind of hold it in place. And then you'll do the other side to match. I used to be really intimidated by 90-degree ends because I thought like that they had to be perfect and that they were really difficult, and it turns out that none of those things are true. One of the things that I like about sewing so much is that there's no right or wrong way to do anything. There's just your way. And that's beautiful. It's beautiful. Sometimes people will ask me, like, why didn't I do it this way? And it's like, well, I don't really have a good answer as to why I didn't do it one way or the other. It's just, that's what's great about sewing. It's like everyone has their own way. And you might see a way that somebody does something and you like that better, and that's totally fine too. All right, so you're going to want to cut your zipper length down to 5 inches total, and you will have to cut it. It's not going to come at 5 inches because you have to make that 90-degree angle, and like I said, everyone makes it a little bit different. Okay, we're just gonna pull on our zip pull. We're gonna melt our edges. And then if you get the kit, you'll have enough extra interior to make yourself a little zip tab. Okay, so this is 1.5 inches wide by 2 inches long, and you're just gonna fold it into the center, like so. Okay, and that's gonna close off your zip. We're just going to stitch 1/8 of an inch away from this inside edge. And it's okay that our piece doesn't go to the edges of our zip tape. That will all be within our seam allowance. You could also make a zip tab out of vinyl. Again, you do you on this one. All right, we are gonna grab our chalk. We need to find the center of our zip. Our chalk has been betraying us lately. It's like exploding instead of making marks. We need a new one. Okay, so we're going to take our front exterior, and same thing, we just want to find the centers, and we want to do that on everything. Just by making a little snip. So we want our 90-degree angle to be on the left-hand side of our front exterior. So we're going to make sure that we turn it upside down this way and match up our center. Okay. Then we'll take one of our interior pieces, we'll put that right side down, and it match up the centers, and then all the way across the top. And then we're going to stitch all along, and I'm just putting the edge of my foot right up against the zip. We're going at about 1/4 inch seam allowance up here to attach our zipper. Just be mindful as you move over your zip teeth where your 90-degree angle is. And we want to make sure that we move our zip pull out of our way. And we're going over our zip tabs, so if you have a foot that doesn't compensate thicknesses, just make sure you use a hump jumper if you need to. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and we're just going to finger press everything apart. And we're going to top stitch only where our zipper is, okay? So not out here and not out here, and that will help us ensure that our wallet just turns really nicely at the end. Okay. So right in between, right after where that 90 degree is, we're going to start our top stitch. And I am back stitching. And we're just going to make sure everything sort of stays pulled away from that zipper. And right up to that zip tab. Okay, so there's our top stitch. Cut off our excess. And now we can do the other side the same way. So we'll take and match up our centers. And we're just going to make sure that our sides match up as well. And by sides, I mean here, okay? And then our second interior piece is going to go right side together with our already stitched interior. Okay, and same thing. Move that zip pull out of the way. And finger press. Okay. We're going to go ahead and top stitch again the same way, just in between the zip tab and the 90 degree. Just lining us up here carefully. And just take your time here, you guys. You don't want to rush and then have something go wrong. All right, there we go. Super cute, right? Now before we put this together, we're just going to come in here and baste our swivel on. And I'm leaving about 1/4 of an inch or so, maybe like a 1/2 inch extra. Okay, right there on the edge. I'll measure it up for you here in a second. Yeah, it's just shy of 1/2 inch. And we're going to leave that overhang. And I'm putting this opposite of our hang tag. So again, this is just a baste for now. And this will be what we're able to then attach onto our keyring, or if you want to attach it inside of a bag or wherever it is that you want to attach it. This webbing is really easy to sew through. Okay. So basically when it's done, it's going to hang like that. So cute, right? We're going to move our zip to the center. We're going to take our exteriors and we're going to line up those top pieces right there. Okay. Same thing over here. And then we'll clip all the way around. And we're going to clip all the way around our interior as well. Everything should line up pretty nicely. Okay. Now we're going to leave some of our interior open to turn our pouch through right here along the bottom. So I'm going to start sewing over here and we'll stop over here, just leaving this bit at the bottom open. So pretty much just past the curves on the interior panels. And I am going to sew the bottom of the interior at a 3/8 inch seam allowance, and then I'll taper up to a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Okay, so that just means that our lining won't be super baggy. And I'm putting a nice back stitch in here. Just take your time around the corners. For the longest time I only made square or rectangle pouches. So I made this pattern because I wanted people to know that you could do corners. They're not all super difficult. Okay, and we've tapered down to that 1/4 inch seam allowance. And we're coming up to our 90-degree angle here, so just taking our time. And we're taking our time over our webbing and our connector. Okay, now what we're coming up to is the side with our tab, and so that is a little thicker. and it's thicker over here. So it shouldn't get in our way. Just be really mindful. Try to keep everything in line as best as you can. And we're going to taper back to that 3/8 inch seam allowance. And backstitch. And there we go. Okay, so we've left this open. You can see here our stitches look good, our corners look good. We are going to go ahead and just use our peeking shears down here on those corners to help them lay nicely when we turn it. If you don't have peeking shears, you can just cut little triangles into the corners or slits, whichever you'd prefer. We're going to leave the length. We're not going to cut our opening at all, okay? So we're not going to cut anything extra away from there. All right, now we can turn. So you just reach in your opening, open that zipper all the way. And pull it through gently, but firmly. Okay. So then you can just get on in there, turn everything out. This material, if you are working with the kit, is so good to work with. Make sure you push everything out, including your side with the tab. Almost there. Almost. It's almost time for a water break too. You can hear my voice going. Doesn't take very long. Cannot wait for the sickness to be gone. Okay. And we'll come down here. We're going to close our turn hole. You're just going to stick your fingers in there and it's going to turn over on itself. Okay. There we go. All right, and we're just gonna, and you don't have to use, we're using contrasting thread, but you can use the same color thread as your interior here if you want, if you don't want this line across the bottom. Since everything else is black and white, I'm not really concerned about it. We're just doing 1/8 of an inch to close this turn hole. All the way across, and you always start a little bit before where the hole starts and end a little after where it ends. And we're going to pop that in there. Okay. And that is our wallet. And what I think is the most difficult part of what we're doing today, complete. All right. So we're going to set this to the side and grab what we need to make our card case. All right. So what you need for the card case is super simple. You need 2 main pieces, 2 card slot pieces. Again, so simple. I'm sure that there are other ways to make card cases. So yeah, but basically we just have 2 card slots, which are slightly smaller than our 2 main pieces. No lining, no nothing. And then we've got our matte black swivel hook, 1 inch wide, and we have our 1 inch wide piece of webbing here, cut at, again, 2.5 inches. These are easy, they're simple. If you have like a cutting machine, that's probably great, because we're gonna have to do some trimming, since if you guys don't know this about me, I'm a notoriously terrible cutter. So you're just basically going to take a card slot and you're going to layer it over a main panel. We're just going to clip these together for now. Okay, same thing. Layer a card slot over a main panel. And then we're going to put our main panels wrong sides together. And then just kind of match up the tops as best as possible. Sort of work everything together. Okay, everything doesn't match, and that's totally fine because we'll just trim it later. We're going really simple here. Okay, so then we're going to take this and we're going to insert it in between the top of our 2 main panels in the center. Like so, okay? And then we're just top stitching around the entire thing. Okay, so this is going to be my front because I cut it so that our little pumpkin drink loving ghost is right there in the center. Sorry, that's my water. So I'm just going to go around from this side, bobbin thread on the bottom. Doesn't really matter where you start because we're using white thread still. I'm going to start in one of the white boxes because I think that that will be helpful. And we're just going to go for it. Again, I know that stuff doesn't match up perfectly, so we'll do a little trimmy trim after. And you're just going 1/8 of an inch around. The whole thing. There are slight curves on this as well, but they're slight, they're small. You can kind of just like bump your way right around. I've actually made card cases like these before for my team to hold their ID badges for the fitness center and the parking garage. It's kind of where I got the idea from. Okay, and as you sort of move back down, just make sure that you hold down your card slot piece at the top. And right back to where you started, throw another back stitch in there. Good to go. And then you can come in and trim up all your terrible cutting, if you're me. Make everything match. And you can edge coat if you would like, or you can leave it as is. But basically, you can fit 2 cards, one on each side. And it's a cute little accessory. Sometimes you have to do a lot of trimming because you are really and truly a terrible cutter. And there you go. Okay, so we now have 2 pieces complete, so they would hang like so. All right, now we're going to make our keychain and our wristlet. All right, guys, so we're on to our keychain and our wristlet. So if you get the kit, you will get the string, and it's actually not stretchy. I always looked at these wristlets and thought that they were stretchy, but they're not stretchy. So you'll get the material, this cord, it's like a nylon. You'll get the matte black. This one's kind of shiny, but it's still that black. Key ring. You're going to get the little keychain accessory. You won't get a Spooky Mama, but you'll get a, oh gosh, what's the word? Sort of like a standout bead for your keychain. It won't be Spooky Mama. It'll be the pumpkin, or let me grab you. Let me grab you. Let me grab it. It'll be random, but it could be this fella here who matches almost exactly. Could be our checkered pumpkin. Again, pretty good match. We also have these guys here who are plotting something awful, but again, pretty good match. You know, it could be anything. It just won't be the Spooky Mama, but you'll get something fabulous as your accessory. You're also going to get a large eye craft needle that you'll need, and you can keep using over and over again. And then you're going to get 15 of the orange wait, 1, 2. Yeah, 15 orange beads, 1 black bead, and then you'll get an additional 2 orange beads for the keychain to go with your accessory. So we're going to do this first. You just unscrew the bottom, you guys. And if you don't have if you didn't get the kit, I will have all of the material linked to make these in my Amazon storefront, and that will be in the description box along with all the other goodies. So you basically we're just going to put one on, and then we're going to put our big bead. And these are attached with a jump ring, so you do sort of need a tool. Okay, there we go. All right, so there's that. We're going to set that to the side for now. Now what we want to do is we're going to take our material. We're just going to put that sort of through. And there's no design here because we only have the 1 black. It doesn't really matter where we put it on. So we're just going to thread our beads down. And yours will come obviously already cut. We're going to cut ours off the spool here in a second. You can just tape one end down if you need to. Okay. All right, so we're on. We're going to take this off for now. So we've got our material on there. We want to just make sure we get our keychain on there before we start to close this up. And it just goes on just so. It's very easy. You don't have to, it's very easy. Now I'm going to use these tools here, and those will not be included. But again, they'll be on my Amazon storefront if you decide you really like to make these. So I'm making knots at the end because we're going to use these to sort of help us make everything really tight. We'll cut these off after. Okay. All right. So now we're just going to take this and we're going to, like so. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is use these to make this really tight. If you don't have these, you can kind of use anything. Basically just want to pull. And it's not going to break and it doesn't stretch, which is really cool. Okay, and then we're going to come in and just tie another knot. And once again, we're going to tie it really tightly. Really tightly. And that's going to keep it just really in there. Okay? Is that not the cutest thing? And so easy. I shouldn't have done this next to the machine. All right. We're going to cut off these ends here. I'm just going to hit them with fire because we need these to be nice and thin. Basically what we're going to do now is we're just going to use this craft needle to hide our ends. Okay, so this is in here, and we're just going to go through, we're going to take one through one side and one through the other side, just like this, okay? And we're just going to pull it through. Oh, our needle broke. I've been using this one for a bit. Okay, and then we're going to cut off this piece, and it's basically just going to disappear inside that bead. Okay, see how easy that is? It's crazy. All right, I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to go through this bead over here. I'm going to grab a new needle to do that. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll come back and attach our charm. All right, so cute. It's so cute. I'm gonna give you guys enough beads if you want to put on another bead to your keychain. So this one we just added right here at the top. So you can unscrew the top or the bottom. I didn't like being able to see the bar. And you guys, you can just sort of pull down those beads. There we go. There we go. So much better. All right, we're going to add this. You can see we've got a little ring that's hanging down. And this one has a ring that you can open. I just have some jeweler's pliers. That we'll use to open this. Sort of stick it through that one, and then we'll close it again. Okay, there we go. So now we have our charm, our keychain, and we can head to the finish table and put everything together. All right, you guys, we did it. We made all 4 pieces of our spooky sewing kit. And I love it. It is, the checkered ghost is just the cutest, is he not? Like, I can't. The flower, I mean, all of it. It's just so cute. It's so cute. Our color scheme, you know, spooky sewing season is my favorite season, and We're coming to the end of it already, which I can't believe, but we're moving into other really fun, exciting things. The end of the year is always a hopping here on the channel and on our Etsy site. We do a lot of gift giving, holiday sewing, all kinds of fun things. And this is a great kickoff to, you know, like my favorite season of the year. We do everything quite large and in charge over here, which, you know, it's probably shocking to you because what? I hope that you were able to grab a kit if you wanted one. If you weren't, you guys, I'm sorry ahead of time. Sorry in advance. But grab a pattern because, your kits will also come with a pattern if you purchased a kit. Grab a pattern pack and some material. Like, these are going to be great for holiday sewing also. So if you do fairs, markets, festivals, if you're looking to gift some things for the holidays, like teacher gifts, things like that, these are perfect. Seriously, they really are perfect for giving, and they don't take a long time. We made all 4 of these items, you guys, in 45 minutes. And so if you batch make these, they're going to come together really, really quickly. I will also wanted to take the time to just thank you all so much for your continued support of my channel, of my Etsy shop. You guys have been amazing, and just for your continued support of me. You show up, and I really I love you guys for that. I'm excited to make these. I'm excited to join you all. I'm excited to interact with you all. And it's amazing to me. And if you asked me a year ago if this is what we'd be doing, I would be saying no. If you asked me 2 years ago, I would have laughed at you. We're about to celebrate our 2-year YouTube anniversary next month in November. So that's really exciting. Do me a favor and don't watch the first video I ever made. It was like 3 minutes long, and I don't think I looked at you guys once. So it's kind of crazy to me. It's incredible. I wouldn't have been able to grow, to get better, to do any of these things, to share what I love if it wasn't for all of you guys. So I just appreciate you so, so much. I hope that you enjoyed today's spooky sewing kit tutorial. I hope that you were able to get one if you wanted one. I hope that you grab the patterns and will make some of these on your own. Make sure that you join our Facebook Sewist group, which will also be linked in the description box below. If you're somebody who sews, this is a group meant for sewists, and it is meant for everyone to be able to share what they're making, what they're doing. If you're getting happy mail from me, you can share it in there as well. So make sure if you sew, you join that group so that you can interact with us offline of YouTube. Make sure you give this video a comment, a like, a share. Share with your friends. If you have people who sew and you know that they would enjoy this, make sure they see us. If you're not subscribed, definitely subscribe. We do fun sewing things all the time. We will have a holiday kit, and there will be a ton of them. I am pre-planning ordering material for that now. The fall one, it sold out so much faster than I thought, and I had already purchased all the goodies for this, so that's why I could add more, but not a ton more. I will have a lot of our holiday sewing kit. If you have a preference for things that you would like to see in that holiday sewing kit, now would be the time to let me know. Like I said, I am planning, and I'm about to order all of the things that we need in order to make that probably really soon here. So definitely let me know. Yeah, I think that's it. I think. I hope you have a great rest of your spooky season, a great rest of your day. Thank you again for being here with me. I appreciate you, and I will see you soon.